is B1 has a question, how to implement multiple so many colors without muddying up the image, like the middle vertical picture. So there's there's a short version and there's a long version of this answer. Short version is pretty simple. You turn it black and white, and guess what? As long as the values work, then it's gonna be hard for the image to be muddied. What do I mean by values working? I mean, like, if you can tell what's in light, what's in shadow, is there a nice gradient to it? Is there a foreground, middle ground, background, and everything, and your values are grouped? Then you're not gonna have a muddy image. Also, by grouping the values, this is something I didn't really explain much, and it's not part of the question, but it's part of the answer. Grouping your values is you, as far as red goes. So for example, whoa, this is, there you go. All right. So grouping your values is when you have your values and colors pretty much organized. Actually, I would say that even like until here, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. I can even keep it to 3 values for simplicity's sake. So these can be read as red. And as long as you don't go further away from these 3 tones, for example, it'll always be read as red. Although the dark one might be, I don't know, like, we could dispute whether it is still part of red or not. But essentially saying grouping your values is keeping within the range of color and the lightness of said color, right? So if you're painting if I go brighter than this on the red, then it's not red anymore, it becomes pink. You know what I mean? And if I go like darker than this, it becomes, well, it just looks black in comparison to everything else. And you are off the value range of said color. So to put in very, very simple terms, that's what it is. That's what it is in terms of grouping your values and grouping your colors. Now, the reason why I'm talking about that is as long as you paint something and the value range and group of it is within its local color, then you're going to have no problems making your image muddied or not. Actually, let me make a, there you go. You want to keep your values intact. Sorry, your values organized is what I meant. Also, I don't like this brush. Where's my other brush? Give me just a second. This is too textured. I had a very nice brush here that I use all the time. There you go. This is soft. Okay, so first thing you notice is the darkest shapes, right? This is the most contrasting shapes that you have here. And you can start by, oh, you know what? I'm gonna change this around because I already answered this question before. Let's do it differently. I'm gonna paint this whole thing monochromatic first, for the sake of variety. So you have one shape here, okay? I'm not gonna introduce any other color than green. All right, and then you'll see what I really mean. All right, we're separating this. Let's go darker. Yeah. All right, there you go. Monochromatic means that it's the same color, but it only goes it's one color, but it only goes brighter or darker. You don't change the color. You don't change the hue of it, right? So I'm gonna paint it here, like so. There you go. Then we have a little bit of a pattern there, right? Okay. And let's make it brighter behind. Much brighter behind. Much brighter behind. Okay. We can bring the darkness here on the side some more. It's green! People happy! White people happy! Alright, and I'll bring the values to the foreground a bit darker, so we're pushing the whole thing while keeping the highlights. Okay, there you go. Let's bring this a little bit darker even more. And now the middle shape is pretty much this value, you know. And then I can explain you how you can introduce color without fucking things up. All right. It's very simply made. There you go. Hey, what's up, Jail? What's this new segment? It'll be introduced after I'm done with Silva Decodes. So soon. Once I'm done answering all the questions. All right, and then we have the boat very close by here, or generally here. I'm not too worried about making exact copy because that's not the point of the answer, or the question, not a point of the question. All right. Okay, so now we have the same value. How do we introduce color to this, you ask? You're like, John, what about the color? Well, it's very simple. One thing you can do is, as long as, wait, let me zoom in here. There you go. You can place any color you want in this canvas as long as you don't go over its value. So for example, let's say here on the right, I'm gonna introduce like a red. Now I'm painting it, but let me really zoom in there. All right, I'm painting it. You see it's brighter, right? Let me make that just a little bit darker. It's sort of like blending. There's barely no difference in value. However, when I paint, you can clearly see the color, right? So when you keep that in mind, that means that I can go any color I want as long as the value, I can paint over this whole thing with different colors as long as the value is close by. It's value, right? So I can just add a bunch of colors here and there. Of course, you want to check your values so you don't go too dark or too bright. So I can just keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding, and it'll never, it'll hardly look muddied. You know what I mean? Now my version will look more muddy than his because I don't want to spend too much time on this. But generally speaking, you can just do that. You can probably use layer modes, but I want to show you the manual way. This is a bit too bright. Let's go darker. Right. And again, it just looks unchanged with the color in there. All right, so it looks like he has like a orange going in there. I mean, I'm painting over everything, right? Because I'm just showing you that you can place any color anywhere and it's still gonna be okay. Wait, there's like some purple in here. This is too dark. There you go. It's better. So you can literally place any color you want, and you'll be fine. Wait, let me just make sure that there you go. All right. Wait, that's actually not that color. That's more aqua. There you go. And here it can be more blue. Right. Again, I wouldn't do it this way. I wouldn't paint over a monochromatic sketch. I would add colors as I go. I think that is literally the best way to go about it. I would not recommend doing what I'm doing now. It's backwards, you know. But I wanted to show you the reason as to why he can... Well, I wanted to answer the question, which is why can there be so many colors? And he's like, good to go. It's not going to be too muddied, you know. All right. So this is the answer. The rest is just refinement, or like I would start over and actually directly do it with colors. I would not. This is just a pain in the ass to do. It's sort of like paint around stuff, you know. But oh yeah, the character, the character in the center. There you go. Just a little bit darker, but that's fine. Yeah. Anyways, that's the reason why. You can literally place any... You can have like a rainbow, and as long as the values are good and well grouped, then your image can still be muddy, don't get me wrong, but it'll be a lot harder to make it muddy or not. So there you go. That's the answer to that question. Are there any situations you want to do the opposite of this advice? Depends on what you... Depends on what you are trying to achieve. For example, if you're going for a more realistic setup, you want to keep your colors sort of like on the desaturated side, with only like a few areas of color popping here and there. It's the only situation I could think of. Like, the more stylized something is, the more expressive each element will be. So like gesture, pose, color, value, like literally everything. And the more realistic something is, the more subtle everything about it will be. So like colors is one thing. If you have too many colors, I can answer that really quickly. I know it's not part of the question, but like if you have too many colors, you just counter the color that you placed in, and it will desaturate it. So for example, if I color pick this blue here, I can add this is reading kind of warm there against the green. So I'm actually gonna give it more saturation to make it blend. In this one, I can make it less desaturated here. And I'm just, you see like how it immediately starts to look gray. The same goes here. I'll just decrease its saturation or add green to it. And if I add green to it, as you can see, like very slightly, it starts to, well, desaturate, because the opposite color will take over. And that's pretty much it. Like, I can do exactly the same here. Do you see that? How it immediately starts becoming, you know, like a desaturated version of that color, but it's mixed in with the environment, which is a better color. But you want to be careful with this. You want to be sensible with it, because then you can truly make something look too muddied if you don't have color hierarchy. But that's a different answer. But anyways, all right. There's that answer, the question answered.